To look sharp for our wedding, I dragged my fiancée, Victoria Fairchild, to get gym memberships with me. She grumbled about it, but her actions spoke louder than words. She was at the gym every single day. In just 2 short months, her waistline had become tight and defined, her figure more toned and sculpted than ever. She snuggled into my arms, resting her chin on my shoulder, her voice a proud, breathless whisper. "How do I look, hubby?" I felt her warm, soft arms wrap around my waist, and my heart swelled with sweetness. But later, while she was showering, I glanced at her phone. The screen suddenly lit up. "Congratulations, you have unlocked the 5 kilometers. Couples run badge. Keep up the great work." The smile on my face instantly froze. I had a last-minute project at work today and pulled an all-nighter, even eating dinner at my desk. And when she messaged me this afternoon, she said she was going to the gym alone. So who was this couple? The sound of the shower stopped. I quickly put the phone back, my clumsy hands shifting it by a few millimeters. Victoria walked out, drying her hair, and wrapped her arms around me from behind, planting a peck on my cheek. "Hubby, what are you thinking about?" Her gaze, however, casually swept over the phone on the nightstand. The next second, her arms tightened around me, and her tone was a casual, probing question. "Did you touch my phone just now?" I remembered when we first got together, she would hand me her phone, without a second thought, telling me to look at whatever I wanted. Now we were about to get married, and she was starting to guard it from me. I suppressed the uneasy feeling in my gut, turned my head, and forced a look of frank confusion onto my face. "Huh? We're about to get married. Why would I be looking at your phone?" I pointed to the jacket that had fallen on the floor. "Maybe you bumped it when you tossed your clothes? Victoria, why are you making such a big deal out of it?" She stared at me for 2 seconds, then the wariness in her face relaxed, replaced by an indulgent smile. "Look at you, so tired these last few days, you're completely drained. Here, this is for you." She pulled out a Zippo lighter with a mechanical design and matter-of-factly pushed it into my hand. I felt a tightness in my chest. In the past, whenever I mentioned little gadgets like this, she would just dismiss them as childish and a waste of money, saying she didn't understand why men liked them. Why would she suddenly buy me something like this? I clutched the lighter, my fingertips trembling slightly. Didn't you say you found it weird that I liked these things?" She froze for a moment, then her smile grew even more tender. "Oh, that was just me being silly and immature before. Lately at the gym, I've been overhearing the guys chat. They said all men like these. I thought this new design would suit you. We're getting married after all. I have to learn how to take care of you, how to dote on you, right?" Her explanation was ironclad. But if it was really for me, how could she not remember? I had told her more than once that my favorite brand was Zorro, not Zippo. Victoria's heart had strayed. Combined with her religious dedication to the gym, that couple was at the gym. I lowered my head to hide the sting in my eyes and feigned a moved tone. "Thank you, darling. It's getting late. Let's get some rest. We both have work tomorrow." Clutching her phone, I lay with my back to her, sleepless all night. The next day, I left work early and went straight to that gym. I found an inconspicuous corner to sit in, my eyes locked on the entrance to the weight area. Before long, 2 familiar figures emerged, Victoria and a man, laughing and talking as they walked out. It was her personal trainer, Ethan Cross. Ethan wore a tight-fitting workout tank top that perfectly outlined his physique of solid, flowing muscle radiating strength. He twisted open a bottle of water and held it to Victoria's lips. Victoria didn't even raise a hand to take it, simply tilting her head back and drinking straight from the bottle as he held it. The gesture was so intimate, it looked as if they were about to kiss. A sharp pain pierced my heart, but just as Victoria lifted her head, Ethan sneered. "Victoria, when are you finally going to break up with Sincere Dawson?" Chapter 2. I was thunderstruck. A look of undisguised contempt crossed Ethan's lips. "I really don't get it. The guy's built like a beanpole, can't lift a thing, a typical scrawny twig. How can you even stand to touch him? The thought of you having to look at that weakling frame of his every day makes me sick." His tone was harsh, possessive, as he wrapped an arm around Victoria and demanded answers. "We're the childhood sweethearts here. We fought our way from that little backwater town to this city together, went through hell to get where we are today. And look at us now. I'm a secret lover, hidden away from the light, watching you go out with him every day, having to pretend I don't even know you." Victoria's gaze shifted, and she lowered her voice. "Just be patient a little longer. If it weren't for his sister helping me get my residency papers for the city, do you think I'd be willing to touch him? As soon as we're married and I get my papers, once I'm on my feet, I'll kick him to the curb and marry you." My mind went blank with a deafening roar. I stood frozen in place. So it wasn't a sudden change of heart. From the very beginning, all those whispers of "I love you" in my arms, all those bowls of hot soup, it was all an act. I was just her ticket to residency in the city. I could barely breathe. Ethan kept adding fuel to the fire. "I don't care, the thought of you marrying him makes me want to die. How about this? You get him down to the gym right now. Let me vent some of this frustration on him." A flicker of hesitation crossed Victoria's face. I don't think that's a good idea. What if things go south before the wedding? How will I get my residency papers? And how will I get you to stay here too?" Ethan's face darkened, and he immediately pressed her. "Victoria, didn't you say it was just for the papers? Have you had a change of heart? Have you fallen for that pretty boy?" He took a menacing step closer. "And don't forget, we weren't careful last time in your bedroom. You've missed your period for a month and a half. You might already be carrying my child. They even had a child on the way." My vision swam. Victoria's expression changed instantly. The next second, with a look of complete surrender, she pulled out her phone and expertly sent me a message. Okay, whatever you say. Just don't be angry. Hubby, are you off work yet? It's such a beautiful day, why not come for a workout? Afterward, I'll take you to that new Japanese place you love." Her tone was incredibly intimate, as if her world revolved around me, as if she had done nothing to wrong me. "I don't think so. I'm not feeling well today," I replied coldly, but she persisted with a second message. "What's wrong, Sincere? Didn't you say you wanted to get in shape to look better in your suit at the wedding? You don't want to work out. Does that mean you don't want to marry me anymore?" Looking at her hypocritical words, a cold calm washed over me. The locks at home hadn't been changed yet. All her things were still in my apartment. Now wasn't the right time for a confrontation. I took a deep breath and sent her a one-word reply. "Fine." Then I quickly sent a message to my sister. After that, I straightened my clothes and took a side path to the main entrance, pretending I had just arrived. The moment I appeared, Victoria intimately slung an arm around my shoulder and led me to Ethan. "Sincere, this is our gold medal trainer, Ethan Cross. He's amazing. If he trains you, I guarantee you'll be in great shape in no time." I looked at her, and she looked back at me with sincerity in her eyes. Just like 5 years ago when our eyes met across a crowd, and she ran toward me with such eagerness. But it was never for me. I swallowed my disgust and let Ethan lead me to the boxing area. "A man needs to have some strength. I'll teach you how to box." Ethan grinned maliciously as he put gloves on my hands. "Your fiancé is watching. You'd better perform well." His so-called teaching was just using me as a human punching bag. Fists rained down on my pads, the immense impact forcing me back step after step, my arms going numb. Ethan loomed over me condescendingly, mocking me in front of everyone. "Hey, Mr. Dawson, look at you. Your punches are so weak. Got any power in there? No core strength at all. And this frame of yours, are you a scrawny twig? A gust of wind would knock you over with a weakling build like that. What woman would feel safe with you? Mr. Dawson, you're getting married at the end of the month, right? Don't let your wife be the one carrying you over the threshold. That would be a huge embarrassment. Be careful, or someone might just steal your bride. and you wouldn't even be able to fight back." The other members he was training all burst out laughing, thoughtlessly grinding a man's pride into the dust. I took a deep breath, lifted my head, and looked at Victoria with bloodshot eyes. "Victoria Fairchild, you are my fiancée, and you're just going to stand there and let him talk to me like this?" Chapter 3. Victoria was taken aback by my question. Her eyes darted away, avoiding my gaze, and she mumbled vaguely, "Sincere, Coach Cross was recommended by a friend. He's a professional when it comes to fitness. He's only doing this so you'll look sharp and handsome in your suit on our wedding day. It's all for your own good. Just bear with it. You'll see results soon." For my own good? If I hadn't personally heard their conversation, I might have actually believed her. I suddenly remembered the way her friends looked at me when she introduced me, calling me their future brother-in-law, and those smiles they couldn't quite suppress. At the time, I thought it was kindness. I thought that with so many people blessing us, Victoria and I were destined for a long, happy future. I was so blissfully happy for so long. Looking back now, they must have been struggling to hold back their laughter at my stupidity. The feeling was suffocating. Seeing my silence, Ethan grew even more arrogant, his voice sharper. "Can't even hold a proper stance. What a waste of my time, Victoria. Come over here. Let's demonstrate the correct way to generate force for him." He gestured for Victoria to come over. Without a moment's hesitation, Victoria walked over to him. Right in front of my eyes, they embraced as if no one else was there. Ethan wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hands roaming over her slender waist. I had held Victoria like that before, but the moment I touched her, she had unconsciously tensed up. "Hubby, your frame, it's a little too bony," she had said then, before laughing it off. "But I like you just the way you are. It's a lean, beautiful aesthetic." I was thrilled at the time, playfully insisting on holding her longer. She said okay. She had forced herself to endure it. It must have been so hard for her. Ethan, in their intimate pose, shot me a provocative look. "See that? You'd better learn. A body that weak can't protect your woman." My phone vibrated gently. "I'm almost there." Seeing the message from my sister, I couldn't take it anymore. I got up from the floor, pulled off the boxing gloves and threw them aside, staring coldly at Ethan. "I am the client. I paid for a membership and hired a personal trainer. Do you think I'm here to listen to your personal attacks? Is this how you talk to the person who pays your salary? Is this how you do business? Get your boss in here right now." Ethan, not expecting me to defy him in public, scrambled for an excuse. "Mr. Dawson, I was just trying to motivate you. It's reverse psychology, don't you get it?" Victoria, seeing things were getting out of hand, quickly chimed in. "That's right, Sincere. Coach Cross means well. It's not as bad as you think." "Motivate me?" I laughed out loud. "Stop with the mind games. Don't use me as your emotional punching bag to vent your frustrations. Sorry, but this gentleman is done. Taking your crap seeing a crowd gathering, Ethan quickly adopted the demeanor of a wronged man. "Mr. Dawson, I'm the gold medal trainer here. How can you slander me like this?" I was genuinely trying to help you. Victoria also grabbed my hand, her voice urgent. "Sincere, why are you being so passive-aggressive today? It makes us look so classless. You should apologize to Coach Cross." I thought of how Victoria had silently allowed Ethan to humiliate me, and I felt that beneath her beautiful skin she was rotten to the core. This woman, I was done with her. I violently shook her hand off and looked her straight in the eye. "Victoria Fairchild, did you really think I didn't know about the dirty secrets between you two?" Chapter 4. The anger on Victoria's face instantly solidified. She stared at me blankly, a flash of panic in her eyes. "Sincere, what do you mean?" She was still trying to bluff her way out of it. "There's nothing going on between me and Coach Cross. Don't talk nonsense." Ethan immediately backed her up, puffing out his chest and glaring at me like a tough guy. "Mr. Dawson, I know I was a bit strict with you during training, but you can't just make things up to slander my reputation. Victoria and I are just a normal trainer and client. We don't even know each other outside of the gym."
"You don't know each other?" I had to laugh at his brazen, black-as-white lies.
"You don't know each other, but you go on a run together and unlock a couple's badge? You don't know each other, but your training sessions end up in bed?" His expression faltered at that, but he held his ground, insisting, "Mr. Dawson, how can you make such baseless accusations? I was just a little tough on you, and because you're upset, you're making up these lies to get back at me. You're trying to ruin my reputation. If it were just me, I might let it slide. But Victoria is your fiancée. How can you drag your own fiancée through the mud just to get revenge on me?" Looking at his self-righteous act, I lost all desire to even argue with him. I just informed him coldly I'll be requesting a full refund for those tens of thousands of dollars in personal training sessions. As for the breach of contract penalty, you can figure out how to pay that yourself. With that, I turned to leave without giving him another glance. Sincere Victoria lunged forward, grabbing my wrist with a death grip. Her palm was slick with cold sweat, and her voice trembled. "Make yourself clear, what do you mean? Have you misunderstood something?" I tried to shake my hand free, but couldn't. I could only look at her with sarcasm. "What do I mean? Don't you know perfectly well what I mean?" She looked at me with a pained expression, her voice softening even more. "I came to the gym, I worked my butt off every day. Wasn't it all for our wedding? Sincere, is it because there are too many men at the gym? Are you upset about that? I'll cancel my membership right now. We can switch, find a gym that's women only, okay? Please don't be angry. Is there some misunderstanding between us? Whatever it is, we can talk it out. Just don't leave me like this, okay?" She looked so sincere, so heartbroken, as if she were truly just a girl whose entire world was me, now terrified of being abandoned, waiting for me to turn back. But it wasn't me she couldn't bear to lose, it was what I could give her, the residency papers that would let her stay in the city. Let go, I used all my strength and violently flung her hand away. "Victoria, don't touch me with your filthy hands." My clear rejection seemed to finally strike fear into her. She tried to grab me again, a note of pleading in her voice. "Sincere, whatever the misunderstanding is, please, just calm down and let me explain it. I'm begging you." Just as her hand was about to touch me again, a sharp, angry voice cut through the air from the entrance. "Victoria Fairchild, you get your hands off him." Chapter 5. My sister, Isabel Dawson, had finally arrived. She stormed in like a whirlwind and, without a word, slapped Victoria hard across the face. The sharp crack echoed in the spacious gym. "Bitch, you dare touch my brother." Isabel spat the words through gritted teeth, then grabbed my arm and pulled me away from that disgusting place without a backward glance. Sitting in my sister's familiar white Porsche, I was enveloped by her signature cedarwood perfume. I gave a bitter smile, my voice hoarse. "Sis, this hurts so much. 5 years, I really thought she loved me. I thought people's eyes couldn't lie. She always looked so happy when she looked at me, like she wanted to keep me in her sights forever. How could it all be fake? I was about to get married. She played me for a fool." My sister drove steadily with one hand, using the other to gently ruffle my hair in a comforting gesture. Her voice was laced with both heartache and fury. "Don't be scared. Sis is here. I had someone go to your place and throw out every single thing that belongs to that woman. I called and canceled the wedding venue and the officiant. The invitations have been dealt with too. I also had a locksmith go over and change the locks to the latest model. She can't even get in the door now." Listening to Isabel's clear-headed, methodical arrangements, I just stared blankly out the window. A heavy stone lodged in my heart. "Seeing me like this," my sister muttered. "Damn them." Then she sighed, slowing the car down. "Sincere, if you're hurting, talk about it. Don't bottle it up. It kills me to see you like this. As for her residency papers, I've already put a stop to it. And this isn't over." She dared to play our family like this? I'll make damn sure she can't survive in this city. I nodded, but my throat felt like it had been scraped with sandpaper, and I couldn't get a single word out. My sister didn't say anything more. She just pulled the car over, took something out of the glove compartment, and held it out to me. It was a velvet box. Inside, nestled on the lining, was a Zorro lighter. Its design was minimalist and elegant, gleaming with a subtle luster. I had told her Zorro was my favorite. Victoria had fobbed me off with a Zippo. Only my sister remembered what I truly liked. We were supposed to be together forever, but that lighter and my marriage were all for another man. Moisture slowly welled in my eyes. I couldn't hold it back any longer. I clutched the lighter in my palm, rested my head against the car window, and let out a choked sob. Chapter 6. By the time we got to my apartment building, it was already dark. I followed my sister with red-rimmed eyes. As we passed the community dumpsters, I immediately spotted several large trash bags. Peeking out from a corner of one bag was one of Victoria's silk nightgowns. Just yesterday I had ironed it for her. Now, it was lying in a pile of garbage, just like my feelings for her, which she had used and discarded so casually. Seeing me frozen in place, my sister asked softly, "What are you thinking?" I shook my head, sniffled, and managed a weak smile. "Nothing, sis. You should head back. I'll be fine on my own." "No." My sister insisted on crowding into the elevator with me. "Look at the state you're in. I won't be at ease until I see you safely inside." Back in the apartment, I sat numbly on the sofa. My sister poured me a cup of hot water to warm my hands. I sniffled, and just as I took the cup, the doorbell rang. Sincere opened the door. Sincere, it was Victoria's voice. "Sincere, what on earth is going on? Why did you change the locks? My fingerprint won't work." She continued to shout desperately from outside the door. "She just won't go away. You wait here. I'll go deal with that ungrateful snake." My sister's face darkened, and she started toward the door in her high heels, but I shook my head and held her back by the arm. "Sis, let me." This was my relationship. I'll be the one to end it. My sister looked at the calm resolve in my eyes, and after a moment of hesitation, she stepped back and stood behind me. When I opened the door, Victoria's face flashed with elation, but when she saw the ice-cold expression on Isabel's face behind me, that joy froze instantly. Still, she forced a smile and held up the bag she was carrying. "Sincere, look, I bought you your favorite cream puffs. I was wrong this afternoon. I was just trying to use Coach Cross's words to motivate you to work out more. I never thought it would upset you so much. I really know I was wrong. I shouldn't have let someone talk to you like that. But I swear there's nothing going on between him and me." She was trying to bluff her way through it. My sister was furious, pointing a finger at her. "Bullshit motivate him? Is that what you call motivation? Letting your lover use my brother as a punching bag and humiliate him by calling him a scrawny twig? Why didn't you say anything then?" She took a step forward, ready to get physical, but I stopped her again. I just looked at Victoria calmly, even with a hint of a smile. "Victoria, don't take me for an idiot." Chapter 7. The expression on Victoria's face completely froze. "Sincere, you—" I cut her off. "Victoria, don't lie to me. I know everything. You and Ethan Cross are childhood sweethearts. From the same small town, aren't you? Victoria, stop hounding me. I have no interest in unknowingly becoming the other man in your decade-long love story." Her face turned deathly pale, but she bit her lip, still trying to argue. I can explain fine. Go ahead." I smiled at her, waiting for her explanation. Under the combined stare of me and Isabel, she steeled herself and slowly began. That was all from back home. Sincere, I was young then, naive. I didn't know any better. I couldn't tell what love was. We were just together because we'd known each other for so long. Now I understand. It was nothing more than two people in a strange city, huddling together. For warmth and companionship, she looked at me desperately, trying to make me believe her. Then I came to the city and met you, and I realized a man's smile could be so pure that the image of you quietly reading would flash through my mind day and night. That's when I knew I had fallen in love with you. I just felt guilty for holding Ethan back for so long. It was truly just a sense of obligation. Trying to help him out, she repeated herself over and over. To me, he's really just like a little brother. The person I truly love is you. Sincere, a brother? I finally let out a laugh. The kind of brother you have to sleep with? The kind of brother who holds your waist from behind and teaches you moves hand in hand while you just stand there? What is he? Your lover boy brother? That was a mistake I made when I was immature, sincere. She was still trying to argue, but I cut her off. Don't, Victoria. Instead of wasting your time telling me all this, you should probably get to a hospital. You might already be pregnant with his child. At those words, Victoria's face went completely white. She finally understood. I knew everything. Without another glance at her, I turned to close the door. Sincere, she knew that if she let me go now, it was really over between us. She cried out my name, her face pale, and tried to push her way into my apartment. But a sharp slap from my sister sent her stumbling back onto the doormat. Get out, boom, the heavy security door shut out the world. Worried about my state, my sister ended up staying the night in my guest room. The next morning, as she was leaving for work, she looked at me with concern. Sincere, if that bitch comes to bother you again, call me immediately. I'll be right over. Okay, I know. I smiled and pushed her out the door. Go on, get to work. Don't be late. My sister stepped into the elevator, her eyes still full of worry. The moment the doors closed, the apartment fell silent. The smile on my face could no longer hold. It crumbled, piece by piece. I still couldn't quite accept it. How could I have been so stupid, so easily believing the lies of a con artist? Her eyes were such good liars. It would take an ocean of tears to wash them clean. Just then, my doorbell rang again. My heart leaped into my throat. Chapter 8. Holding my breath, I quietly double-bolted the door before turning on the video intercom. Standing outside was, unbelievably, Ethan Cross. He seemed to know I was watching. He raised his fist and started pounding on the door, yelling into the intercom. Sincere Dawson, you damn pretty boy, open this door. Why do you get to be born with everything? Residency in the city, a good family, a good job, and what about us? We kill ourselves working our whole lives, and we can't even reach your starting line. His voice was coarse, filled with resentment and bitterness. After a moment of yelling, he suddenly let out a cold laugh, thick with a sick, twisted pride. But maybe this is for the best. Now that you know everything, there's no way you'll marry Victoria. That means Victoria is all mine. I couldn't listen anymore. I pressed the talk button. Ethan, if you like picking women out of the trash heap, that's your business. But don't come to my doorstep to act like a madman. My words seemed to hit a nerve. He exploded with rage. What the hell are you talking about? You're just jealous. Jealous that Victoria and I have known each other for over 10 years. That I'm the one she loves. He paused and yanked open his collar, revealing an old silver ring on a chain around his neck. See this? This was from Victoria's father. He said it was to be passed down to his future son-in-law. You dated her for 5 years, and I bet you haven't even met her parents more than a couple of times. Seeing no reaction from me, he leaned provocatively closer. To the peephole, his voice dropping to a low, threatening whisper. And besides, she's pregnant with my child. Everyone back in our hometown knows she's my woman. What have you got to compete with me? You were just a tool she was going to throw away after getting her residency papers. She only ever loved me. Listening to him, I felt only a sense of pity and absurdity. Only a weak, pathetic man who can't find his own self-worth would parade a woman around like a trophy. Oh, well, in that case, I wish you two a long and happy life together. Hope you have a child soon. I have zero interest in marrying into some backwater family." My words cut him to the quick, and he launched into a tirade of foul-mouthed insults. I truly couldn't understand it. We were both deceived by the same woman, so why did he harbor so much malice toward me? But since he was now threatening my personal safety, I saw no reason to be polite. I calmly pressed the save button, storing the entire video feed from the security monitor. I was just about to call building security to handle him, but then the elevator doors chimed open. It was Victoria. Again. She was holding a box of cream puffs and clutching a brand new Zorro lighter gift box, my favorite kind. When she saw Ethan blocking my doorway, she froze. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" Chapter 9. The moment Ethan saw Victoria, the ferocious look on his face vanished. His eyes reddened as he adopted the posture of a wounded man and walked to her side. "Victoria, I came to apologize. I wanted him to forgive us, but he looks down on me. He said we're from the sticks." Watching him play the victim in front of a woman, I felt a wave of nausea. Ethan reached for the things in Victoria's hands, while trying to take her arm. "Victoria, let's go. Don't waste your time on this spineless coward. Your engagement is definitely off anyway. A passive-aggressive guy like him isn't worth it," but this time, Victoria didn't move. She even took an instinctive step back, avoiding Ethan's touch. She knew I was watching. Ethan's hand, holding the sleeve of her coat, froze in midair. He was stunned, but I smiled. Through the door, I spoke into the intercom. "Victoria, weren't you just begging for my forgiveness yesterday? Fine. I'll give you a chance, me or him. Who do you choose?" Ethan immediately roared. "Sincere Dawson, you bastard, stop trying to drive a wedge between us. My 10-year history with Victoria is nothing you can compare to." But Victoria was silent. She didn't look at Ethan. She just stared at my front door, as if trying to see me through the solid wood. I added more fuel to the fire. "Don't forget where you come from. No connections, no background, and not talented enough to make anyone important take a second look at you. Only my sister can get you those residency papers for the city you've been dreaming of." Victoria's face twisted in agony. "Sincere, we were together for 5 years. 5 years of our lives. Please don't do this to me, please." Victoria Ethan cried her name in disbelief, a betrayed animal clawing at his heart as he gripped her sleeve. But I had lost all patience. I barked out my command. "Choose." Victoria's body trembled violently. She was silent for a full 20 seconds, an eternity. Then, slowly, one by one, she pried Ethan's fingers from her sleeve. Ethan stared at her, dumbfounded, as if he didn't recognize the woman in front of him, just as I had when I saw them embraced. A faint glimmer of hope rekindled in Victoria's eyes. Facing the door, she asked me in a humbling voice, "Sincere, if I break it off with him, will you be able to forgive me?" I laughed, so hard that tears almost came to my eyes. "You're not worthy. As for that question, you should probably go ask Ethan." Victoria froze, confused. "What do you mean?" "Sincere, you're going back on your word? You promised me a chance." She was frantic now, her voice cracking. "You promised to get my residency papers if we got married. I've already told everyone back home I was about to be a resident of the city. How am I supposed to face them now?" Before she could finish, Ethan, standing beside her, completely exploded. "Victoria Fairchild, you bitch. You're the one who owes me an explanation. You're fucking pregnant with my child, and you're still trying to get back together with this pretty boy? What the hell do you take me for? You shameless woman, you liar," right there in my hallway. They started a blatant, ugly fight, screaming and tearing at each other. In the heat of the argument, Ethan lost control and shoved Victoria hard. Caught off guard, Victoria fell backward, her abdomen slamming hard against the sharp corner of the doorframe. She let out a pained grunt, her face instantly turning ashen. A smear of crimson began to seep out from under the hem of her skirt. She reached out a trembling hand, her face a mask of terror and despair, and looked at Ethan. "Ethan, Help me, my baby. Chapter 10. Looking at Victoria pleading for help, Ethan's only thought was whether he'd face criminal charges. His face was a mask of pure panic. He stammered and took 2 steps back, his words a jumbled mess. It wasn't my fault. You fell on your own. Then, like the coward he was, he turned and ran without a second glance. Watching this absurd scene unfold, I finally opened the door and dialed 911. Victoria lay on the cold floor, looking up at me, tears mixing with blood in a pathetic mess. She sobbed, asking me, "Sincere Dawson, you never planned on forgiving me, did you? You wanted to punish me by getting rid of this baby from the start, didn't you? Well, it's gone now. Are you satisfied? Am I clean now? Can you forgive me?" Looking at her like this, I sighed. "Victoria, the moment you let Ethan humiliate me, you should have known we were over. The only reason I'm calling an ambulance for you now is as my one good deed for the day. After all, I'm not like you and Ethan. I can't just watch someone die in front of me, that's all." She fell silent. The ambulance arrived quickly, not long after, probably as revenge for Ethan abandoning her. Victoria leaked everything about his violent assault and home wrecking, along with his disgusting chat logs, to their gym's social media accounts. It caused a massive uproar. Bowing to public pressure, the gym swiftly fired Ethan. Ethan lost his job and was now saddled with a reputation for violence. Enraged, he retaliated by exposing Victoria's scheme of using an engagement to secure residency. Victoria was outed as a manipulative social climber. She was not only sidelined at her company, but also saw her reputation destroyed throughout her industry. A spectacular scandal ended in mutual destruction. As for me, I walked into a boxing gym. I poured all my anger, my pain, and my sweat into the heavy bag. Every punch felt like a farewell to that foolish past. Every drop of sweat made me feel a strength and lightness I had never known. My body, under the daily assault, started to build muscle, to feel powerful. 2 months later, Victoria's company finally completed her termination process. Having lost her foothold in the city, she had no choice but to pack her bags and slink back to her hometown to get married. Before she left, she cornered me outside the boxing gym I frequented, looking lost and broken. When I took off my gloves, wiping the sweat from my face as I walked out, she stared, completely stunned. She couldn't believe it. The man who had been completely transformed after leaving her, confident and full of life, was worlds apart from the drained, pale woman she had become after her miscarriage. "Sincere," she murmured my name, her bloodshot eyes slowly filling with tears. "For the past 2 months, every time I close my eyes, all I see is your face. I've thought a lot. I finally realized how stupid I was. I shouldn't have deceived you for residency papers. If I had just stood by you every single time, maybe things wouldn't have." Her throat caught, her voice thick with what sounded like genuine sincerity. But sincerity, it can change in a heartbeat. Maybe she was sincere when she loved Ethan, and maybe she was sincere when she loved me. But I wasn't willing to gamble on her future, nor did I want to walk it with her anymore. I took off my boxing gloves, wiped the sweat from my jaw, and looked at her gently. "Victoria, it's all in the past." She stared, stunned, as a tear finally traced a path down her cheek. But I continued, "No one's life depends on someone else, and no one is obligated to be a part of another person's journey. Even though you lied to me, for a little while at least, the kindness you faked really did help me get through some dark nights, and letting it all go made me realize something. On my own, I can become this much better. As for you," I paused, giving her one last look, "I don't need you anymore. Goodbye, Victoria. Goodbye." After I terminated our partnership, my campus belle ex-fiancée cried with regret to help a student from a poor background secure a partnership with a tech giant. My campus belle fiancée secretly handed over the core technology I had developed. On the day the deal was finalized, the student, Aiden Shaw, gloated on social media, the campus bell on my left arm, a major project in my right hand. This is what winning at life looks like. Everyone was waiting to laugh at me, the official boyfriend. Instead, I just threw down the patent certificates. Omnicore is actually willing to take on technology I scrapped 3 years ago. The project fell through. My fiancée, furious, threatened me, "Post a public apology immediately, or I'll make sure you can't." Survive in a city, I smiled at the row of tech executives standing behind me, waiting respectfully for me to start the meeting. It seemed she had forgotten that it was she who begged me for the seed money that even started Aiden's company. If I could bring it to life, I could certainly let it die. 1. Please, Mr. Coleman, I beg you, I'm truly innocent. Can't we just terminate the partnership? Aiden Shaw was on his knees, frantically slapping his own face. It was my negligence, my fault. I'm begging you, please don't sue my company. This was the scene I walked into when I arrived at the Shaw family's company. The breach of contract penalty for this project was $3 billion. For a nouveau riche family like the Shaws, they wouldn't be able to pay it off in 3 lifetimes. The contract explicitly states that you committed fraud first. Even if we terminate the partnership, you'll have to pay an even larger penalty, Mr. Coleman said, looking weary. Aiden's father, Gregory Shaw, backhanded him across the face, sending him sprawling to the floor. You disgraceful son, look at the mess you've made. Sincere, I'm begging you, just give me a way out. Give me the patent, and our whole family will be eternally grateful to you. Aiden actually crawled over and hugged my legs, his voice hoarse and his face wet with tears. He had always acted so high and mighty in front of me. I remember when Aiden was first starting his business, he didn't have a cent. It was Willow Reed who begged me to help him, which is how he got his startup capital. I had a soft spot for Willow, so I gave him $5 million and even let him use technology my team had worked so hard to develop, before I had even filed the patents. But later, after the Shaw family became powerful, not only did they compete with me for business, but they also tried to acquire my company. I stood with my hands clasped behind my back, ignoring Aiden's desperate pleas. Mr. Coleman, as for Mr. Shaw stealing my technology, proceed as you see fit. If I need to appear in court, I'm available any time. Mr. Coleman nodded with a slight smile. Hearing this, Aiden's expression changed instantly. You're really trying to drive me to my death, aren't you? He said grimly, his face filled with resentment. Who Willow chooses is her freedom. Are you really going to be this childish and use this to make things difficult for our family, Mr. Hamilton? So, in his eyes, I was only pursuing this legally because I was jealous. I frowned, and just as I was about to speak, Willow Reed rushed in like a whirlwind. Sincere Hamilton, get over here and explain to Mr. Coleman that all those patent certificates of yours are fake, Willow yelled, her face flushed with anger. Aiden immediately scurried behind her, his voice choked with emotion. Willow, my dear, did I get too close to you and make Mr. Hamilton angry? Is that why he's trying to ruin me? Willow tenderly stroked his swollen right cheek. Her gaze was sharp enough to cut me into 1,000 pieces. She gritted her teeth and said, It's just a patent. Do you have to be so petty? Are you not going to be happy until you've destroyed Aiden? I let out a sarcastic laugh, feeling my heart slowly turn to ice. Willow, you and he were the ones who stole my technology first. How did this become my fault? Looking at her face, she felt like a stranger. The girl who used to nestle by my side had long since thrown herself into another's arms. Knowing she was in the wrong, Willow softened her tone. I don't want to fight with you right now, but the Shaw family and Aiden absolutely cannot go down. If you don't want to admit the certificates are fake, then just transfer all the patents to the Shaw family. That's a solution that works for everyone. I had already made that mistake once. Now, even if I agreed, the team of over 100 people behind me would never allow it. We had been together for 8 years. Willow knew perfectly well how much effort I had poured into this core technology. And yet, with a single word from Aiden, she could command me to just hand it over. Not a chance, I said, enunciating each word. Willow was a little surprised. I had almost never contradicted her. and this was the first time I had defied her in front of others. If she hadn't pleaded with me on the phone today, I wouldn't have even come. This was the last bit of face I was giving her. Aiden tugged on Willow's hand. "Willow, please don't fight with Mr. Hamilton because of me." Perhaps in Mr. Hamilton's eyes, a company like ours with no resources or connections is just supposed to take this kind of loss and shut up. If that's the case, a few years in prison is nothing. He gave a pained, bitter smile. Hearing this, Willow's heart practically melted with sympathy. How many times had he pulled this act? It only ever worked on Willow. "Don't be afraid, Aiden. I won't let anything happen to you," she said, turning back to me. "Since you're unwilling to show any decency, then you will stay out of this." I shrugged. The Shaw family company couldn't afford a $3 billion penalty even if they sold everything they owned. The only thing left for Aiden was prison. My secretary called to remind me that my private jet was ready. After giving some instructions at the office, I flew to the U.S. to negotiate a deal. A week later, the deal was successfully secured. As soon as I landed, I returned to the company, but strangely, the CEO's private elevator was out of service. The receptionist hurried over, stammering. It was Vice President Reed. She said the company will belong to Mr. Shaw from now on, so the CEO's elevator should be for his exclusive use, too. I was so furious I almost laughed. I go on a business trip for 1 week, and the company I worked so hard to build now belongs to someone else. My face tightened. Why did no one inform me? The receptionist flinched. "Vice President Reed said you've been too tired lately and wanted Mr. Shaw to help manage the company. She told everyone not to disturb you. This company, Apex Innovations, was something I founded with my team 3 years ago. It contained all my blood, sweat, and tears, and she just gave it away." I remembered the time she saw me drink until I had stomach bleeding at a dinner with a partner. She rushed me to the hospital on her electric scooter in the pouring rain. As I lay there on an IV drip, she cried in my arms, saying it broke her heart to see me work so hard. That's why she taught herself business management, to come to the company and share my burden. I never treated her poorly. I didn't want her to be just a simple assistant by my side. So I taught her how to negotiate deals, how to earn employees' respect, how to manage people, and step by step, I promoted her to the position of vice president. Because she was a woman, she was often questioned, faced obstacles, and was given a hard time. I protected her. I made it clear to the entire company that Willow Reed's word was my word, and anyone who dared to disobey could pack their things and leave. But it seemed she had forgotten how she got here. My heart was filled with a bitter sorrow. As I was about to head to the employee elevator, Aiden happened to come down, surrounded by a crowd of people. Among them were several of my own brothers who had fought alongside me from the beginning. "CEO Shaw, the company is in your hands now. Just say the word CEO Shaw, and we'd die for you. I wonder when we'll get to toast at your and Vice President Reed's wedding." Listening to the same flattery I used to hear, he looked at me with contempt. "Sorry, Mr. Hamilton. Oh, my mistake, I mean General Manager Hamilton." Willow said I'm younger and more capable, which is why she handed the company over to me. Aiden patted my shoulder as if to comfort me, the diamond ring flashing on his hand stinging my eyes. I recognized it. It was the $1 million ring I had a top designer create when I proposed to Willow. She was overjoyed when she received it, saying she would wear it for the rest of her life. But now, even the engagement ring was on Aiden's hand. No wonder those people were looking forward to a wedding. I looked at his smug, arrogant face, the rage inside me with no outlet. He was supposed to be in prison. How could he possibly have come up with $3 billion for the penalty in such a short time? Something was definitely off. "Don't forget to put this month's financial report on my desk," he ordered condescendingly. As he walked past me, bumping my shoulder, a photograph fell out. My heart leaped in shock. It was a photo of him and Willow with a little boy, who looked to be about 2 years old. 3. His assistant quickly picked it up and handed it to him respectfully. The smugness on Aiden's face deepened. "General Manager Hamilton, you're a man of great knowledge. They say in ancient times, a mother's status rose with her son. Do you think the same principle applies to a father? I stared at the photo, at the boy's face which bore a resemblance to both of them. My fists at my sides clenched so tight my knuckles turned white. A rush of blood went straight to my head. I remembered 2 years ago, in order to make my company stand out in the market, I went to the US for nearly a year of training. By that calculation, she must have been pregnant before I even left the country. I felt like I had plunged into an icy cellar. I had to suppress the inferno of rage inside me just to keep from losing my composure. The onlookers gasped, all of them settling in to watch the drama unfold. I glanced at him coolly. Whether man or woman, those who use a child to climb will always be clinging vines, never a mighty oak. Aiden's face darkened slightly as he put the photo back in his pocket. He leaned in and whispered in my ear, "It's too early to be drawing conclusions." I ignored him and stepped into the elevator. The moment I entered my office, Willow threw her arms around me. "Didn't you say you were going to check on the project team? How are you back so soon?" For a split second, she realized who she was holding and quickly pushed me away. "I thought you were... Why are you back early?" she asked, turning away to tidy some documents, a hint of guilt in her voice. Everything in my office was gone. The decor had been changed to Aiden's preferred style. "You thought I was Aiden?" She didn't answer but turned back to hug me again. "Oh, come on, I just think of Aiden as a little brother. Don't be jealous, okay?" "Is it necessary to give your little brother an engagement ring?" I asked, not even having the heart to expose her clumsy lies. Willow pouted, her voice turning coquettish. "Aiden's just a bit childish. He wants whatever he sees. I just let him wear it for a couple of days to play with. He's just a simple, big-hearted boy. There's nothing more to it." She wrapped her arms around my neck and tried to kiss my lips. I fought back a wave of nausea and turned my head away. I let him come to our company to give him some experience. We never had opportunities like this when we were starting out. Isn't it good to let young people try new things? Besides, you, my husband, are the real CEO of this company. Aiden is just holding the title in name only. His family's company is in trouble, so he's just here to learn a thing or two. Seeing that I wasn't saying anything, Willow tried to be seductive, undoing my tie. "We're about to get married. Don't you have any sense of security with me? I've already thought it all out. Once we're married and settled, we'll adopt a child, a happy family of 3. My heart was numb. This was the happiness I had once dreamed of. She had said she was afraid of childbirth, so she wanted to adopt. I loved her so much that I agreed, promising that even if the child was adopted, I would treat them as my own. But now, it seemed her plan was for us to adopt her and Aiden's child, making me the ultimate scapegoat. It was the perfect solution for her. I took her hand and gave a faint smile. "Fine." Willow was overjoyed. "The company anniversary is in 3 days. Why don't we go to the children's home the company sponsors and pick a child then? I just happened to see a very well-behaved little boy there the other day." I continued to smile, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear. "Whatever you want. 3 days is not a long time. Willow Reed, just you wait." 4. Willow personally oversaw the arrangements for this year's anniversary celebration, inviting nearly every tech company and business journalist in a city. When it was time for the CEO's address, Willow stopped me. "Give Aiden a chance to practice." Aiden's speech was delivered as if he were the CEO, and everyone praised him for being so young and promising, managing 2 companies at once. "We hear you have a very close relationship with Vice President Reed. Could you tell us more about it?" a reporter asked. Aiden's gaze lingered on Willow. Willow was our campus belle. Of course, I've admired her for a long time. He openly declared his feelings in front of everyone, and at some point, Willow had moved to stand by his side. Her dress and his tie were a matching color scheme. Standing side by side, one journalist even praised them as a match made in heaven. It made Willow blush and her heart flutter. Aiden wrapped his arm around Willow's slender waist, looking proudly at me in the distance. Willow, for her part, leaned into his embrace as if she had no bones, completely ignoring me, her fiancée. He spoke of the hardships of his entrepreneurial journey, and Willow's unwavering support, but he never once mentioned the huge amount of startup capital and technical resources I had given him. I solemnly promise here today that as long as Willow says yes, Aiden Shaw, will give her a lifetime of happiness. Aiden's words even brought tears to Willow's eyes. I felt like a ridiculous outsider. The Shaw family stocks soared. A reporter asked why the two of them weren't together. Willow finally looked at me, saying with a playful pout, because the right person had already arrived first. She led me onto the stage. Thank you to all our colleagues and friends from the press for being here today. Sincere and I have set our wedding for next month. The invitations will be sent out tomorrow, and we hope to see you all there. Waves of blessings erupted from the crowd. I heard Vice President Reed and Mr. Hamilton have been together from campus to the wedding aisle. How romantic, yes. Not only is Mr. Hamilton handsome, but the patents his team has filed could stack up taller than a building. What a shame. What a shame. I was hoping to set Mr. Hamilton up with my daughter. The tech magnates who came were all people I dealt with, and they held a high opinion of a rising star like me. I couldn't count how many company bosses had beaten a path to my door, hoping for a marriage alliance. Thank you all for your blessings. I have one more announcement to make, Willow said, holding my hand, a smug look on her face as she looked down at the disappointed heiresses in the audience. Sincere knows how difficult childbirth would be for me, so we've decided to adopt a child from the Blue Sky Orphanage, which our company sponsors. A nanny brought the little boy in, and both Willow and Aiden looked at him with eyes full of affection. She took the child. Sweetheart, say daddy. The camera flashes from the reporters below were blinding. In a corner, Aiden secretly held up the photograph to taunt me while Willow wore a blissful expression. Sincere, hurry up and hold our son. I ignored Willow's urging. Instead, I took the microphone and announced loudly, as the CEO of Apex Innovations, I hereby declare that from this moment on, Willow Reed will no longer hold any position within this company. All capital investment in the Shaw Corporation is to be frozen immediately. I, Sincere Hamilton, do not raise vipers. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd erupted in an uproar. I loosened my tie and added with a cold smile, as for the wedding, shoving a bastard child in my face, do you and your son think you're worthy of even bearing the Hamilton name? 5. Willow was completely stunned. She stood frozen, her whole body stiff, and even accidentally dropped the child on the floor. What are you talking about, Sincere? What bastard? She stammered, not daring to look me in the eye, her whole body trembling. Aiden rushed forward to pick up the child. Mr. Hamilton, even if you don't like this child, you don't have to slander him like this. Willow subtly pushed Aiden away, her face stained with tears as she looked at me. Sincere, there are so many people here today. Can you please not throw a tantrum? Quick, tell everyone you were just speaking out of anger. Otherwise, this will be embarrassing for everyone. Can't you just think of the big picture for a moment? Hearing her words, the sarcasm in my heart intensified. You try to steal my company, you try to make me a scapegoat, and you still want me to think of the big picture. Willow Reed, you really know how to play your cards. I scanned the room and said coolly, the board of directors has already unanimously approved the decision to remove Ms. Reed from her position. The investment in the Shaw Corporation was my personal asset. I have every right to withdraw it. As for this child, I think you should all ask Ms. Reed and Mr. Shaw. A commotion broke out below the stage, and the camera flashes never stopped. My God, wasn't the Shaw Corporation built from the ground up by Aiden Shaw? It turns out it was funded by Sincere Hamilton. I heard rumors that this Ms. Reed was getting a little too close to Aiden Shaw, whom she was sponsoring, but I never thought they had a child. Isn't this just using Mr. Hamilton as a patsy? And Aiden Shaw was the so-called nominal CEO of Apex? This is a classic case of trying to devour the whole family fortune. Aiden dropped to his knees before me. Mr. Hamilton, it's not like that, please. Don't blame Willow. It's all my fault because you invested in my company. I should have been. Your loyal dog for life, it's all my fault, my fault. He started slapping himself frantically, trying to make everyone think I was forcing him, just like before. But the people in the audience were not as foolish as Willow. Of course, they wouldn't be deceived by his clumsy acting, but now Willow couldn't be bothered to feel sorry for him. This is impossible, she said, looking at me in disbelief. The members of the board clearly. In her mind, the board members had already completely submitted to her. How could they have unanimously approved this decision? I smirked, stuffing my hands in my pockets. You don't really think I've been messing around for all these years, do you? Those old-timers on the board were as shrewd as they come. How could they betray me based on just a few words from her? Sincere Hamilton, she gritted her teeth. You set me up? 6. I patted her on the shoulder. All's fair in war. I seem to recall teaching you that myself. Seeing that she had been exposed, she decided to throw caution to the wind. On what grounds I was with you all the way from nothing to something, what right do you have to fire me? Even if I don't have credit, I have hard work. I own a part of Apex Innovations. You can't just cast aside the wife who was with you from the beginning, Sincere Hamilton. Aren't you afraid of divine retribution? Ha! I lowered my gaze, a cold smile on my face. Just the fact that you and Aiden Shaw stole company technology is enough to get you blacklisted from the industry and thrown in jail. Or do you feel that being fired isn't a severe enough punishment? I never thought I would one day say such harsh words to the woman I once loved so deeply. Besides anger, my heart was filled with a deep, sour ache. I didn't know when she had become this person. Willow looked up and met my gaze, her eyes showing not a trace of remorse. So what, the matter has been perfectly resolved. You can't do anything to us. She pointed her finger at my nose and shouted, You, the great Mr. Hamilton, making wild accusations about a small child. Is this how Apex Innovations operates? What evidence do you have that this is mine and Aiden's child? I'm going to sue you for slander. She was probably so angry she was just spouting nonsense. I hadn't wanted to embarrass her so much in public, but she walked right into the line of fire. I rubbed my brow and signaled to my assistant behind me. He understood my cue, took a file and went backstage. The large screen lit up again, cycling through a slideshow of security footage, showing her and Aiden entering and leaving the orphanage together, along with a signed testimony from the old director confirming the child was theirs. At the same time, a paternity test report for the child and them was displayed. How could you? From the moment I saw that photograph, I had already contacted my mole who was close to Aiden and Willow to get their DNA samples. As for the orphanage, it was Willow who had told me she couldn't bear to see those children suffer, and that's how she got the funding from me to sponsor it. So for the past 2 years, she'd been using the money I earned to raise her child with another man. I was the ultimate fool. It's fake. It's all fake. It was you, Sincere Hamilton. It's all a scheme you designed to kick me out of the company. Willow shrieked like a shrew. The reporters and colleagues below were all looking at her with contempt. Ah ha ha. She suddenly threw her head back and laughed. You may have your schemes, Sincere, but I have my own ways of getting over the wall. She walked up to me, chin held high. If you get on your knees and apologize to me right now, I might consider giving you $1 million to live out your golden years. Otherwise, don't blame me for disregarding our many years of history. I frowned slightly, not understanding what she meant. Did you think you were the only one who came prepared? I have you to thank, Mr. Hamilton, for all those years of training. You taught me to always have a backup plan. Her cold gaze swept across the room, finally settling on me. Her red lips parted slightly. Leo Powers, the CEO of Omnicore, is my godfather. What does Apex even count for? 7. A collective gasp went through the crowd. Omnicore Technologies isn't just a giant in a city. It's the absolute hegemon in the global AI tech field. There's a saying in a city, CEO Leo Powers is the true kingmaker for Willow Reed to have a connection with Omnicore's Leo Powers. It looks like Mr. Hamilton is going to lose today. Listening to the crowd's murmurs, Willow lifted her chin arrogantly. She looked towards the main entrance, where a group of men in black suits were escorting Leo Powers in. "Who's been bullying my goddaughter?" With that one sentence, the entire hall fell silent. Everyone was both respectful and fearful of this so-called CEO Powers. Aiden scurried over to my side, holding the child out to me. "How does it feel to be a cuckold? Your company, your woman. From today on, they'll all be mine." I watched with a faint smile as Willow fawningly greeted Leo Powers. Some of the braver guests whispered among themselves, "Mr. Hamilton is really finished today. Such a talent, what a pity he offended Mr. Powers. How dare you speak so carelessly with Mr. Powers here? Aren't you afraid of getting your own company blacklisted?" Sigh. Willow Reed and Aiden Shaw played this move too ruthlessly. I took a closer look. So, it was him, the puppet CEO I had installed at headquarters. Because Omnicore was too powerful, countless people had put a price on my head on the black market. For my own safety, I had someone find a puppet like Leo Powers to be the public face. All of Omnicore's real work was handled abroad and then sent back. He was only responsible for coming and going from the office and attending staged fake meetings. Leo Powers put his arm around Willow's shoulder, a cigar between his fingers, and swaggered onto the stage with his potbelly. "So you're that Apex CEO? Starting today, Apex Innovations is being acquired by Omnicore. The position of CEO will be taken over by Willow Reed." "Oh my gosh, thank you, Godfather." She planted a heavy kiss on Leo's cheek. Watching Willow's triumphant expression, I almost couldn't stop myself from laughing. "What? Can't smile later, so you're getting it all out now?" Willow raised an eyebrow at me. Aiden fanned Leo Powers obsequiously. "Mr. Powers, you have to teach this sincere Hamilton a lesson. He thinks he can create a monopoly just because he has a few tech patents. He even dared to interfere with Omnicore's partnership." Leo glanced in my direction and then spat on the floor. "Kid, you're the one who made my godson-in-law lose $3 billion? Don't you know who calls the shots in a city? I'm standing right here today, with the entire Omnicore Technologies behind me. Are you tired of doing business, or are you tired of living?" As soon as Leo spoke, his bodyguards surrounded me. The atmosphere instantly grew tense. "Looks like Mr. Hamilton's story ends here tonight. If you mess with Omnicore, you can only blame yourself." I looked at Leo and spoke calmly. "I wonder, Mr. Powers, before making a move here today, did you ask for permission from the man behind you?" Leo's body trembled for a moment, his brow furrowed in suspicion, before he let out a cold snort. "Kid, you dare to bluff me. I have the entire Omnicore behind me. Who else is there? If you're trying to stall for time, I suggest you save your energy. Today, you're giving up the CEO position at Apex. Whether you want to or not, men pin this clueless brat down for me." Willow stood before me, her chin slightly raised, a faint mocking smile on her lips, her eyes filled with derision. "If you can kneel before everyone and apologize to me and Aiden, I might ask my godfather for mercy and let you be a security guard at Apex. I'm not as heartless as you, sincere Hamilton." I said nothing. This woman was no longer the person I once wanted to spend my life with. Just as the bodyguards were about to make their move, a steady, commanding voice cut through the air. "Whoever dares to touch my son today has a death wish." 8. Everyone turned around in astonishment. My God, that's the founder of Omnicore Technologies, Cyrus Westwood, the old master himself. Did he just call sincere Hamilton his son? I thought Mr. Westwood never married or had children. I grew up in an orphanage sponsored by Mr. Westwood. He discovered my talent for research and development 10 years ago, secretly adopted me as his godson, and began training me as his successor. He wanted me to temper myself through my own efforts, so for the past decade we never publicly revealed our true relationship. After I founded Apex Innovations, he was extremely satisfied with my abilities and formally handed over the management of Omnicore to me. I went forward to help him walk over. "Father, I've made a fool of myself in front of you." He nodded slightly. "I'm here to clean house. You should watch and learn." Seeing my father, Leo Powers' legs went weak with fear. "Mr. Mr. Westwood." My father narrowed his eyes and sat in the seat of honor. Leo was so terrified he wet his pants. "Number 78, you are merely one of my disposable agents. Since when did you learn to borrow the tiger's might?" I wouldn't dare, Mr. Westwood," he stammered, his hands shaking as he looked at me. "Young Master Westwood, it was I who was blind and failed to recognize your greatness. You are a man of great magnanimity, I beg you. Please don't let the old master send me to Africa." He banged his forehead on the ground until it was bleeding, refusing to stop. It was Willow Reed who seduced me. I was bewitched and made a terrible mistake. This was all her idea. And the 3 billion compensation, she told me to transfer some of Omnicore's assets and some of Apex's assets to cover it. I was confused. He was a man with no brains. He confessed everything before he was even asked. Willow collapsed to the ground, her eyes vacant. "Sincere Hamilton, how could you be? We were together for so many years. What else have you been hiding from me?" Now she remembered we had so many years of history together. I took a signed document from my assistant and handed it to her. "And this, the wedding gift I originally intended for you. This document included the transfer of all shares in Apex Innovations and 30% of the shares in Omnicore Technologies. I had planned to give it to her as a surprise on our wedding day. After all, with real power in her hands, a woman would have more security. I wanted her to always feel safe by my side." The signature was already turning yellow, because I had started preparing it from the day I took over Omnicore. Willow caressed the document, her eyes filled with endless regret. She frantically looked for a pen. "I'll sign it now. Can I sign it now, Sincere? Our wedding is still on. Please, I'm begging you, forgive me this one time. Let's just pretend none of this ever happened, okay? It's too late, Willow Reed." I pulled the document from her hand and, before her despairing eyes, mercilessly tore it into shreds. "No," Willow shrieked, watching helplessly as her happiness was annihilated. "When you and Aiden Shaw were in bed making a baby. When you were plotting to steal my company. Willow, did you ever think about me in the business world of Los Angeles, drinking myself into a stupor, even ending up in the ICU several times?" Willow tremblingly opened the memo app on her phone. "Sincere, look from the day we got together, I secretly kept a list of things to buy for our wedding. Because you were always busy, I would organize it once a year. I really truly loved you. I was just momentarily foolish. Please forgive me this one time, okay?" I glanced at it coldly. She had kept the list from the first year we met until the 5th. The first year it said to rent a mermaid-style wedding dress. By the 5th year it said to order a custom Dior haute couture gown. I chuckled, my voice tinged with a faint bitterness. "So why did you stop recording?" 9. The 6th year was the year she met Aiden Shaw. From that point on, her heart and eyes were filled with nothing but him. Willow stammered, taking 2 steps back. "I was just so busy then, that's why." "Stop lying to yourself, Willow." "No, Sincere, I just thought Aiden was very hard-working back then, just like you when I first met you. I just wanted to take care of him a little more." When she first met Aiden, he had been caught stealing from the campus convenience store and was being held at the door by the owner, mocked by other students. Willow said his helpless look reminded her of me, and she couldn't bear it. At that time, our business had already achieved some success, so we decided to sponsor him. Her words had no effect on me. Were you looking for my shadow in him, or were you looking for a thrill? You know the answer in your own heart. If it wasn't love, then why would you get pregnant and give birth to the child? Willow was speechless, but still refused to admit her mistake. Aiden tricked me. He secretly poked holes in the condoms, that's how I... But the child is innocent. How could I bear to abort him? The crowd, now knowing the truth, sighed with contempt. Cheating is cheating. Stop trying to make it sound so noble. People who betray true love should be punished. Cheaters never find fault in themselves, they only torture others. Willow was scorned by everyone, with nowhere to hide. At this moment, Aiden knelt before me again. "Mr. Hamilton, young Master Westwood, I was forced by Willow Reed. She told me you were always on business trips and couldn't be with her, so she asked me to come and comfort her at night. I'm a man too. In a moment of weakness, Afterwards, she threatened me not to say anything and promised to make me the CEO of Apex. That's when I developed evil intentions. Please help me. I really don't want to be controlled by her anymore. Let me stay by your side, even as a beast of burden. Just pretend you've adopted a dog you can take the Shaw Corporation to. I just beg you to let me go. Willow looked at the turncoat Aiden in disbelief. You animal, you were the one who said you felt sorry for me, that I had suffered for so long with Sincere. You said you loved my intelligence and beauty. You're spewing lies, Aiden retorted. I just quietly watched the two of them tear each other apart, and the crowd of onlookers enjoyed the show. Why don't you tell everyone how you used Mr. Hamilton's money to pay for men outside? You've had a few secret abortions too, haven't you? My dear, dear Willow. I would later learn that Willow, in her pursuit of new thrills, after giving birth to Aiden's child, had been cheating on Aiden with other men. 10. The two of them tore each other's masks off in front of everyone. Willow muttered, lost in a daze. Aiden Shaw, did you ever love me at all? That day, after I saved you from the convenience store, I gave you a hug behind the sports field. You told me later that it was the first hug you had ever received from someone other than your mother. You said you were so moved that you wanted to be good to me for a lifetime, to give me a lifetime of happiness.
Was all of that fake too?
Willow's voice was choked and hoarse. Aiden didn't even listen carefully, instead wearing a mocking, nonchalant expression. Love you? Are you worthy? To be honest, Willow, in this world only Sincere Hamilton ever loved you. But that was in the past. Willow looked at me, her former lover. Our eyes met, and all that remained was disappointment. Suddenly she lunged off the stage, grabbed a fruit knife, and charged at Aiden. Then you can just go to hell, Aiden reacted quickly, snatching the child from the nanny and using him as a shield. If you dare to kill me, I'll strangle this child. Willow's eyes flickered. The hand holding the knife loosened for a moment, then tightened again. He should never have come into this world in the first place. The moment she lunged forward, I immediately grabbed her and held her tight. Willow Reed, get a grip. Her body went limp, a bit of clarity returning to her eyes. She took the opportunity to hug me. You're worried about me, aren't you? So you still love me, don't you? I let go of her. Willow, we're over. She collapsed weakly to the ground. Aiden quickly dropped the child and tried to run out of the hall. My father's bodyguards caught the child and kicked Aiden to the floor. Police officers swarmed in, taking them away one by one. This entire farce was broadcast live by all the reporters. The Shaw stock plummeted. The company was acquired by Omnicore, and the Shaw family went bankrupt. A month later, I received a call from the police station. When I saw Willow Reed again, she was a completely different person. Her once waist-long hair was now cut short to her ears, sticking up like dry grass. Her cheeks were sunken, and her thin prison uniform was stretched taut over her sharp, bony shoulder blades. Long time no see, I said, breaking the silence. Her lips opened and closed, but no words came out. Are you doing well? She finally asked in a hoarse voice. I won an award for excellence in cleaning today. In college, we used to walk on the sports field after dinner, and she would tell me about the praise she had received or the awards she had won, waiting for me to praise her effusively. Seeing my silence, the light in Willow's eyes dimmed. Well, keep up the good work. At my words, a spark of hope seemed to ignite in her again. If I can get my sentence reduced, will you take me back? It's only 7 years. 7 years will pass quickly. Sincere. Will you wait for me? I took a red envelope from my bag and had the guard pass it to her. I gave a faint smile. I'm getting married next month. I'm moving to the U.S. and I won't be coming back. Willow, 7 years is not a short time. And you personally destroyed our 8 years. There's no room for you in my heart anymore. She was silent for a long time. I stood up to leave. A moment later, a heart-wrenching sob echoed from behind me. A month later, in the United States, my father and many friends and relatives came to attend my wedding. The bride was Isabel Vance, the daughter of a family friend, a tall, elegant Chinese-American girl who studied art. We walked hand in hand down the aisle, a gentle breeze blowing past. I still have many 7 years ahead of me. The end.